it's so fucked up, but it makes so much sense this way. I absolutely agree. This was meant to be heard backwards. Welcome back, everyone. Mike Griff here, ready for some breakdown. Now listen, this theory of listening to the Death of Slim Shady in reverse, at first, I was skeptical about. I made a playlist, started listening to it backwards, and was like, yeah, kind of makes sense. I can get it. I'm starting to make some connections here. When I got to Guilty Conscience 2, I stopped believing it. It just didn't seem to fit. Like, Guilty Conscience 2 is, it's like the middle point of the story, and it's talking about a lot of stuff that happened in the beginning of the album, and it just didn't make sense in a linear way. Like, how is he referencing the stuff that, if you're listening to it backwards, hasn't happened yet? But, I dove into it a little more, and honestly, I started going back to Damn, because that's Kendrick's album, Damn. That's exactly what that was. It was made in one direction, and then Kendrick came out and said, you can listen to it two ways. And even the way that album starts, it says, it's your choice. It's like a choose your own adventure type of album, which was the first of its kind as far as I'm aware. And he says you can choose wickedness or weakness. You can live or die. It's your choice. And the more I kind of analyzed that, the more I thought about Eminem and Kendrick's relationship. Though you don't see much of the relationship, you know about it because, Kendrick was highly influenced by M, and M very much respects Kendrick, and they're such I believe they see each other as equals. Even though Eminem came first and influenced Kendrick, I believe they have the respect for each other to see each other as equals and respect each other's work, where when M was doing this conceptual album, it's almost like, of course, he would have tried to do what Kendrick did. If not in a next step sort of way, and with his own shadiness, and not just shady, exposing himself. That's what Eminem does with his music. That's what any artist does with their art, is they try to lay themselves out the deepest way and in the most honest way possible. And I really believe now, after analyzing this a bit more, that's what Eminem has done. He has pulled a Damn. It makes more sense to me now backwards than it does forwards. It makes sense forwards in the sense that all the marketing for this album was the return of Slim Shady, the return of Slim Shady. So right off the bat, the first song is you're just overdosed with Slim Shady right off the bat. But the album kind of teeters off. Slim Shady dies, and it's just Eminem in the end, and it's really just Marshall's feelings and whatnot, and there's really no Shady in the end, not really. So it makes sense in a marketing standpoint to put it out that way. But when you take the story of Eminem, it makes more sense to listen to it backwards. Because listen, coming from his last album, coming from what Eminem has been putting out and has been doing, has been phenomenal, but it hasn't been shady. It's been M, just tearing up the rap game, just tearing up rap, but without the shady edge. And the shady edge is more than just offending people and just, trying to piss people off. It's way deeper than that for M. For M, it's addiction. For M, it was choosing drugs over his family. For M, it was the worst possible thing. And I think that's what pisses him off when people say, go back to the old M. And because it's like, you're asking me to choose this over, like, you don't understand what Slim is. You don't understand. He almost fucking killed me. And you don't care about that. You just want Slim back. And I think there's a guiltiness in him that he kind of wants it too, because he misses that. He misses that, you know, M and Slim together. This whole album is about M and Slim together dominates not just rap, but pop culture. Because it sticks a finger up to everything. And it's unapologetic, as well as laced with this amazing talent of Eminem. So I started to look at this, and I started to analyze it, and the guilty conscience problem, guilty conscience 2 dilemma I was having, I solved by realizing, and I kind of realized this before, but really diving into the fact that this is a fight within Eminem's own mind. And then I started to realize he's painting this as he is a person with DID, which is divided identity disorder. It used to be called multiple personality disorder. And that's also just a metaphor for addiction. Like, it's like having it's a duality. It's your good side, your bad side, you know, and you trying to fighting yourself. Addiction is fighting yourself. And it's divided identities, it's split personalities fighting each other. The thing about, and as a filmmaker, I've looked into this because it's very interesting in movies when they delve into that topic. Like, so I say DID, but movies are kind of fluid with DID and schizophrenia. So I'm going to be a little loose with that, and I think this concept is kind of a little loose with that. But I'm going to reference A Beautiful Mind. That was a cool fucking movie about schizophrenia. And it's all about showing a battle within someone's mind, and you don't necessarily know it from the beginning. You might know it at the end, but you don't know it at the beginning because that's what it's like inside that type of mind. They don't recognize it at first or at all. I've looked into this because I wanted to make a movie. I made a movie that was supposed to be about it. I had another writer come in and take over. It was called Mickey's Mask, and it kind of swayed from it. I really couldn't on my own figure out how to do it. It was working with the idea that a superhero who has like his alter ego as a superhero, what if he actually had DID or schizophrenia, and even his like Alfred character was part of his mind. And that was like kind of the idea I was going with. It drifted away from that, but in that, while I was trying to make that movie, I did do a lot of research about this, and I know that it's been expressed sometimes that when one personality is in charge, the other personality is asleep. I've heard people with DID don't tend to sleep much because when one personality goes to sleep, the other kind of emerges. And that factors in a lot to this album. If you're going at it with this concept, so for what we're doing here with this breakdown and this analysis and looking at it this way, is we're going to assume it was meant to be this way, which I'm very much leaning towards right now. It hasn't been confirmed, but I'm very much leaning towards it. And the dream sequences and the waking up is a interesting factor in this. What is another interesting factor is where he picks, how he places his skits. Sometimes they're just a track on their own. Other times they're tacked onto the end of a song, or maybe the beginning of a song sometimes. But like, why would that be? Why wouldn't it just be like it used to be in the old days, where a skit was a skit on its own track? It's very interesting. It's an anomaly, really, because that hasn't happened before. So why would it be that way? Would it be that way so when you play it backwards, these skits play in a very specific way after a song or before a song, or the way... Because it doesn't matter if you just listen to it straight through. Like, it doesn't matter if it's its own track or not. But when you listen to it backwards, it does matter. Think about that, because if a skit's its own track, a song plays and ends, then the skit plays. If you listen to it backwards, the skit plays and the song plays and ends. But if it's on the same track as the song, then that switch doesn't happen. And it seems very calculated, and we know Eminem is a very calculated person, it doesn't happen like it used to happen. It's kind of like sometimes it's its own track, sometimes it isn't. So that was interesting to me. And then I started to think about the dreams and when he wakes up. And a lot of the confrontation between him and Slim is obviously him fighting within his own mind. So when you listen to it straight through, the right way, which I wouldn't even call the right way, the way it was marketed, all the fights he has in his head are just dreams, and it's kind of a sane way to look at it. When you listen to it backwards, it's almost like you're stepping into the mind of I feel like there's an Eminem lyric like that. Step into the mind of a psychopath killer, blood spiller. That's exactly what this is. If you listen to it backwards, you actually listen to it forwards, you're looking at it as a normal person. Listening to it backwards, you're looking at it as if you're within Eminem's mind. And I'm about to prove that as best I can, because this is still all a theory. It hasn't been confirmed yet. But take these points that Slim represents addiction. When he's dreaming and when he's awake, is kind of up in the air, and it's kind of all a battle within his head. And it's like the movie A Beautiful Mind, where you don't really know what's real and what's not, what's within the mind and what's out of the mind. I'm very excited about this. Oh, and please, if this is interesting at all, I could really use your help with some subs. So if you could subscribe, I am trying to get to 1,000 subscriptions so I can start monetizing, and that would be really great. And without further ado, let's get into this. I'm not going to play into the music. I've already listened to it all, and I don't think we need to. I think we can just analyze it right now. I wish I came out with this a little sooner. Like, I should have put this out yesterday. Honestly, what I've been doing is working on an Easy Mill breakdown of 27 Bodies, and I'm excited to put that out. But while I was doing that, this theory came up, and I didn't jump over to this right away. I wanted to finish my Easy Mill reaction. So now we're on this. So I'm sorry if this is a little bit late. I'm still trying to get this out quick. But we're gonna jump into this right now. So, first track in reverse order, Somebody Save Me. This song it's like a what if track if Eminem did succumb to drugs and die. It sounds real recordings of when Marshall was at his... I've never heard Eminem... I never heard Marshall expose himself the way he does on this track, where you can hear just this pathetic addict Like, he exposed the most vulnerable parts of his life, the part that he is most disgusted with him just. It's hard to listen to, honestly. His daughter's trying to, like, wake him, and he's just, like, moaning. He's acting like a child. Like, it's really cringy and painful to hear. Especially if you, like, really honestly love M, and you love his family, and you really admire him. To see him in this way is just... It's heartbreaking. This is what Slim Shady did to Marshall. This is what Slim Shady pushed him to, and almost completely to. This is what he tried to do to him. This is what Slim Shady is to Eminem. He is a threat to his family. So that's what Somebody Save Me is. It's presenting that. It's like, you want Slim, this is who Slim is. Alright? This is who he is. To me, this is what he is at his fucking core. You might think this is all fun and games. This is actually very depressing and like a reality slap in the face when you listen to it backwards. The next track is a skit, and it's that, Ken Kniff from the Eminem show making fun of the number one single song. But what's very interesting is I think he said this, and in the Eminem show too, is the quote, "Where'd everybody go?" And he kind of just wanders off. And I think this is a quote that really sums up how M is feeling without Slim. After rapping as Eminem without Slim, M is feeling alone without having the following he did when he was with Slim. Even though he's extremely popular still, he's extremely talented, he's not where he used to be without Slim. And everybody keeps reminding him of that. Everybody, the whole fucking world wants Slim back, and has turned away from him because they didn't like him, they like Slim. And this is what he's presenting to you with the first, if you go in reverse, the first two tracks. Next song is Toby. So now we're still on the Eminem, we're still on the mature, and what I want to point out, what Damn also did was play with virtue and sin. Virtue. So, for instance, and I'm gonna say the main virtues and sins here is humility versus pride. And this is, humility is M. We all know M is an extremely humble, one of the most humble rappers. For being the best rapper, he is extremely humble, and that is something to be admired, and is shocking, honestly. It's shocking. But Slim isn't that. Slim is that pride in him, that why am I not getting my flowers? Why am I not being... I am the fucking shit. Why is not everyone just accepting that? I'm the fucking shit. That's Slim. Toby is an Eminem song with a dash of Slim. And it starts, and that's kind of how this goes. It starts with a dash, and then Slim just takes over. And it's very much like a straight, like, increase into that. I can't think of the right word, but... So Toby, M is trying to retire by passing the torch to the next generation of Detroit rappers. And I say this because he put them on, and he really didn't outshine them too much. I mean, I think his verse was the best, but I also feel like he really could have fucking gone apeshit like he can do. We all know he can do that, and he didn't really do that with this. And one of his last lines is, "Maybe I'm the GOAT that bit Big Sean and Baby Tron." he's passing the torch. That's what he's trying to do. He's being humble. He's being a grown-up. He's being Eminem. He's being Marshall. Although, in that song, he still shows that he feels pressure to be in the game because he isn't getting his recognition. He points that out in it. Though at the end, he's kind of like passing the torch, and by not going apeshit on the verse, he's still passing it. It's there. It's there. And you can see the seeds beginning to sprout. In the next song, Bad One, Slim is starting to creep in again as M's pride is getting the best of him. And here, the quote that I picked out was, it starts off with him saying, "I don't mean to sound arrogant, but," and then the song starts. So his arrogance is starting. It started with, "Why am I not getting my roses? Like, why am I number 5? I should be number 1." That was the first thing he said in the last song. In this song, it starts off with him being, like, saying, "I don't mean to be arrogant, but," then the song. "I don't mean to be arrogant, but I've got my head up in the sky again. I've got my head up in the sky again." What does that mean? His feet aren't on the ground. He's big-headed. He's full of pride. And he wants his fucking flowers. He wants his fucking respect. And the humility is dissipating, and Slim is creeping in more. Next one, Temporary. This one, I believe, M subconsciously senses Slim growing in him. He sees this. Whether he's not totally aware of it, he senses it. And what Slim reminds him of, to the core, is death. Because Slim almost killed him. Slim almost ripped him from his daughters. Way too early. So, Eminem has the feeling, has the idea that I need to write a goodbye letter to Haley, because I don't know, I just have this feeling I have to do it. That's why Temporary is there. It reminds him of how close he came to dying, like what was dramatized in A Rose and in Somebody Save Me. Next song, Head Honcho with Easy Mill. Again, passing the torch. He gave Easy Mill 2 fucking verses, which Easy killed. I'm not gonna go back and forth and say M's better than Easy or Easy's better than M, but M didn't try to outshine him. All M did in this song was reflect on his childhood trauma. He wasn't on that track to like rip it up. He was on the track to give Easy his moment as he deserves, and in what he ended up doing, instead of going like apeshit on the beat again, as much as he could, and I'm not doing this M versus Easy thing at all. Instead of doing that, what M, and I'm not saying he doesn't go crazy on it. Like he's always going crazy to some extent, but I'm just comparing him to himself. What his content is in this song is him reflecting on his childhood trauma, which led to the creation of Shady. Everything he went to as a kid, everything that led up to Shady, getting D'Angelo Bailey, all the shit that he talks about in the song, birthed this demon in him that we call Slim Shady, that just broke out of a mirror one day, took over, and then took the world over. Now, Guilty Conscience 2. I didn't think it made much sense backwards. Like, linearly, it didn't. Like, literally, it doesn't. If you think about it as a normal person watching a story. But if you're having fever dreams and all this is happening and you don't know what's happening in what order, or you can read your thoughts because it's your own mind before you act upon them, you can kind of throw the when things happen out the window. Because, when the thought emerges doesn't mean you've done the action yet. That's what I kind of realized when I started looking at this in the DID, psychology type way, like a really good movie, like Beautiful Mind. Because M has a beautiful fucking mind. Conceptually, it's when Slim fully emerges and confronts Eminem. At this point, he's only been lingering in the subconscious. Now, he faces him in his conscious mind, face to face. I'm back. I'm here, and they fight. Yeah, in a dream, time isn't linear. In a dream, time isn't really a factor. It's hard to explain because we can't really grasp what dreams are because we're dreaming. But yeah, people who suffer from DID often describe the experience of switching from one identity to another like waking up from a dream. And then at the end, after M tells Paul about his dream, Paul tells him, "Fuck you," hangs up, and then we hear Slim laugh, which is weird because we just heard Eminem kill Slim in a dream. Now, out of the dream, Slim is laughing. So he's still alive, and it wasn't a dream. Even listening to that forward is a clue to listen to that there's something more there. So that we hear Slim laugh after M dreamed of killing him. This suggests these are just my notes that I'm reading. This suggests that while M was dreaming, Slim was in control and pissed off Paul. So during this dream where he's fighting with M, or maybe another time, but before this, Slim was totally in control. Eminem was unconscious, thought he was sleeping, and he's been wreaking some havoc by cutting his manager off from him. We don't know what he said. We just know something happened that M doesn't know about. Like, it doesn't make sense. Why is he saying fuck you? Like, why is he saying that? What happened? Slim did some shit, and we just don't know what it was. Next track is breaking news. Now we're seeing what Slim has been up to from, like, a third party, from the news. What Slim has been up to while M has been sleeping. Next track is Houdini. And now we see not just the effects of Slim Shady being back in the world, we see him coming back into the real world, out of Eminem, and then combining fully with Eminem again. So they fought, he tried to kill him, but he can't. Now he's back, and M has lost. M has lost the battle, and Slim has him. He has him tied up to a chair. However he is conceiving this in his mind, whatever metaphor you want, that's the metaphor he goes with. Slim now has Eminem at his will. Next song is Road Rage. I say Slim has M at his will, not fully. M is still fighting. He's in a chair. Slim has the upper hand, but he's still fighting it. This is the first real Slim Shady song. I would definitely say that. I mean, I guess I'm not counting Guilty Conscience as a song, though it is a song. I'm thinking that more of like that's more of a cinematic thing to me. Like it's a story point, it's a plot point, it's a movie. I know it's a song, but it isn't like a song to me when I'm thinking of it like this. Like this is a song. Like there's like no hooks in it. It's just this fight, this conversation that's in rap form. I mean, I guess you could say Houdini's the first Slim Shady song. So we'll call this the second one then. But it's really Slim or M or whoever you want to say is rapping this is tamer than what is about to come. It's still ramping up to Slim Shady. M finally feel like with Shady backing him, he at least feels like he can speak more freely than he has been, and he's happy about that. He's like he feels free from that, ironically, because he's tied in a chair. Like Slim Shady is not freedom. Addiction is not freedom, but it presents itself that way at first. These are the metaphors that are all lining up, which is making me believe that this is the way it should be listened to. M finally feels free to speak his mind, but isn't completely off the rails yet. He fat shames, but actually in an honest and realistic way. Like, he's saying things that make sense and honestly can be seen as sympathetic towards overweight people. Like, that tough love type thing. Like, you need to hear this because you're something that addicts, which people who are addicted to overeating are. Addicts need to hear harsh reality. You're killing yourself. So, it's Slim, but it's still M. It's still like, there's still a heart, there's still a virtue in it. The next song is Fuel. Now, Fuel is the first time where Slim or M or Slim or whoever, they're one, Slim and M, refuses to let the other artist win. As, he blows JID's amazing, or JID, his amazing verse, he blows it out of the water with, I think, is M's best verse on this entire album. He fucking bodies the beat. He bodies JID. He doesn't give a fuck. He is here to win it. It's all pride and no humility. Slim is back. Next is Antichrist. And the evilness of Slim is starting to kick in. And, I feel like I could analyze this way more. And that's the cool thing about Eminem. You can analyze him for years, decades even. So this is just, I'm just bulleting points. I'm just connecting things in the briefest way I know how, even though I know this is already like a 30-minute video, at least. But what is interesting is that in the end of this song, Bizarre comes back. He's reintroducing Bizarre, which brings us back to the most fucked up statements from the Dirty Dozen days. Like, Bizarre was, besides, put Slim Shady aside, Bizarre was the most fucked up person, if not even more, than Shady. So that's interesting. So now we're back in the D12 days, when he's doing drugs and they're just saying the most outlandish shit. Like, you're feeling it. You're feeling it because of this, because where he chose to put Bizarre. Next song is Lucifer. Lucifer begins with the statement, "The coup de grace is the final shot between the eyes." This, I believe, is foreshadowing Slim's ultimate plan for Eminem, which has always been the case, which was initially exposed in Somebody Save Me, and that plan is to kill him. That plan is to rip him away from his family and bury him in the ground. See what I mean? That, like, Listen to It Backwards is better, but it's really dark. And really, when you think about it, not that fun. And I really think that's what M's trying to show you. It's like, so yeah, you think Slim Shady's fun and cool and like hip, but at his core, he's dangerous. At his core, he is evil. At his core, he's trying to take everything away from me and away from you and away from everything. He's destruction incarnate. He's chaos, and you like that. He's like the Joker, but there's a reason the Joker is the villain. Lucifer. The next song, it's not a song, it's a track. This is a track that's a skit. There are other skits, but I think this is the only track that is solely a skit. There's no rapping, it's just a skit, which is very interesting. So, in All You Got, Slim Shady makes Eminem forget about his daughters and believe that he, Slim Shady, is all that Eminem has. Because when he says, I'm all you've got, we all know that's bullshit. We all know the most he has is Haley. The best thing he has is Haley. For him to believe that Slim Shady is all he has is fucking crazy and really twisted. This is Slim. Drug addiction personified. That's what drug addiction does. That's what it did to Eminem. And he's trying to show you what Slim Shady is, what it means to him, what it means to his family, and what it should mean to you. Stop asking me to go back to this. That's what he's saying. This is a bigger fuck you to everybody. This is a fuck you to his fans. This is a fuck you to everybody, because you don't understand what you're asking when you are asking for this nostalgic Slim Shady back. You were asking to destroy my life and my family's life. The next song is Evil. It begins with, well, in the beginning, he says, I guess I choose to stay, and then we go into the hook. Evil, I'm so evil. I guess I choose to stay evil. I choose to stay evil. This is addiction, is a choice. It's a battle, but ultimately it's a choice. We have free will. We have the choice. And addicts have a hard time making that choice to not be addicts, or not to not be addicts, to not succumb to their addictions. But it's still a choice. It's a choice of evil. M chooses drugs. He chooses Slim and evilness over Haley as he murders Poodles in front of her for a joke. This is funny when we first listen to it. But in this lens, it's really not funny. When you think about if you're a father, if you're a parent, don't think about this as a joke, because it was funny the first time. Think about killing dogs in front of your daughter just to see her reaction. Before addicts go back, they have to choose to. Next song, Brand New Dance. This is literally a song from Encore, representing the peak of when Eminem was on drugs and still having fun before Proof died. I believe that was when before. You know what? I have to look that up. It's around when Proof died. Wait, because isn't Like Toy Soldiers on Encore? Yeah. Like Toy Soldiers is on Encore, which is a crazy fucking video. Very serendipitous. I don't know. I don't know what word to really put to that video. It's chilling. But yeah. Encore is before Proof died. When Proof died, all this drugs and shit became not fun anymore. It became serious. It became a serious choice to block out the world and the pain. Before that, it was fun. And that's how addiction is. Go look at my, when I was in college, I made a found footage video, and it's on this channel. It's called The Taste of Honey. And it takes you through the path of drugs and addiction, where it's funny at first and fun, and then it ends with just this sad, drawn out Scarface with a pile of coke in front of him just right before he dies. This is what that is. Brand New Dance. Got it. Next song is Trouble. It's not a song. It's a song, but it's an interlude. It's the interlude where M finally relapses. And this makes more sense backwards, too. Because I remember listening to this forwards, and Shady first feeds M pills. And then he gives him alcohol. And when I was thinking about this, if this is a metaphor for addiction, like, that sounds a little backwards. It feels a little backwards. It feels like if you're a pill addict and you become sober, you stay sober from everything. But the way you trickle back into it, I think more often than not, starts with alcohol. And then when you feel that intoxication again, that's what makes it easier to slip back into the worst of the worst, the pills, for a pill addict. For Eminem, the worst of the worst was pills. It doesn't make sense that he does pills first and then drinks. That's how it is forward. If you listen to it forward, from front to back. If you listen to it backwards, it kind of makes more sense right here. Because Trouble is when M finally relapses in a very common way with a simple drink. That's it. He's back. He's addicted again. He's in it. Once you take that step from addiction, once you take that one drink, that one step into intoxication, you have thrown out your 15-year sobriety. You've thrown all of that work out, and you have to start over from square one again. All that is gone. It's erased. It means nothing. It's a relapse. You have to start over from square one again. That's why it's easy to keep slipping. Because it's like, well, since I'm already here, I might as well partake a little bit more before I do that, all that hard fucking work again. Before I have to go through all that shit again of fighting this, I might as well indulge just a little bit more. That's the trick. That's the Shady addiction trick. Habits. Habits is the next track. Now he's back into his habits. Now that M has begun his relapse, his old habits are coming back to haunt him, culminating in him finally starting to take pills again. At the end of this song is a skit. It's not at the beat, it's not its own track like Trouble was. It's part of the song, which doesn't make sense unless you look at it like this. Why is that part? Why is it when M takes pills, which is very similar to when he drinks for the first time, why is that not its own track? Why? What other reason would there be for that? Other than he wants it to play a certain way, backwards and forwards. It's fucking genius. It's absolutely brilliant. What did I say here? It's culminating in finally starting to take pills again, which is what nearly killed him. the last time, like in Castle and a Rose. That's it. He has chosen death. He has chosen drugs. Exactly how this record started in reverse with Somebody Save Me. I'm sorry I chose this instead of you. I'm sorry I chose drugs instead of my family. I'm sorry I missed your wedding, the birth of your kid, your first kid, your graduation. I'm sorry I did that. But that's what he's doing right here. Last song, Renaissance, begins with Slim Shady spitting on Marshall's grave. Because that's it. He did it. He's completed his mission. Eminem is dead. And Slim Shady is fully taken over. It's so fucked up, but it makes so much sense this way. It makes so much sense that M would want to let you see this. Because this is his mind, and that's all an artist, and that's all Eminem wants you to do, is relate to him and see what he sees, because it's so complex and so deep, and the only way he can get this across is through metaphors and art, and it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense. I didn't think it did at first, but the more I looked at it, it just fucking does. It's crazy, it's sad, it's terrible, but it's real. It's really real. It's uncomfortable, but it's real. And if you know about M, this is M. This is what isn't. This is what would be in his mind. It's like you listen to this straight through the regular way, and you're like, oh, Eminem's trying to be Slim Shady again. He's trying to, he's this 51-year-old trying to recapture his glory days. But no, you want him to do that, and he is doing in this very wise and profound way into showing you why that's so fucked up. This is fantastic. I absolutely agree. This was meant to be heard backwards. I don't know if there's another album coming. I hope there is. Like a side B. Maybe something that would explain this a little bit more even, which would be really dope. Maybe he'll just... I don't think he'll do exactly what Kendrick did and just release it again backwards. I think if anything, he would add things. And I thought I heard that there was supposed to be way more features. Like, where's Royce? I thought J. Cole was supposed to be on this. Like, where are all these features that I thought I heard were supposed to be on this? I mean, he did Music to Be Murdered By, side A and B, which was jam-packed with music. More than this. I understand this is a concept album, and it's more intricate. But I feel like after, 4 years, he should have more than this, right? I mean, if you're just looking at it from front to back, it's amazing. I mean, it's fucking amazing. It is. It's amazing. It's the #1 album in the fucking world. He's the #1 artist in the world. He's not Taylor Swift down. He's #1 on all streaming platforms. But for Eminem, as amazing as he is, I still think there is more to him. I think there's more. I have a feeling that there's more. I might be wrong. I might be eating my words in the future. Who knows? I just have a feeling. And it could be wrong. But yeah, this was heavy. This was very heavy. Thank you for listening. If you stay with me this long, we're at almost an hour now. I'm glad I took the time to do this. This is a brilliant mind at work. This is a film in audio form. I love it. I'm gonna stop talking because I could just go on for hours about how blown my mind is from this theory, and how it just seems like the exact sort of fucking thing that Eminem would and could do. So, let me know what you think. Honestly, I'm very, very curious on what you have to say about everything and anything that I have just presented. So let me know. Peace out.